Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick. Welcome aboard the world famous Bottom of the Stream podcast.
The world famous. I like this. I like how we've suddenly become world famous.
Okay.
I like it. It seems to have happened as well. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Time.
Good time.
I'm here for a good time.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Well, we'll see.
Well, hopefully. Take too long to edit.
No guarantees.
If you don't know what we're talking about, this week we're going to watch it. Well, we have watched a film called Good Time. Good Time is from 2017. It is a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 42 minutes and is currently rated as 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
Hi.
Hi. How are you? It is high.
Pretty good. How are you?
It is high. Stars, and it might be the reason for it being high. A lady?
I thought you were going to say a legend.
A
and
legend.
You just go straight in there with a fucking legend.
No, he's not a legend yet. A guy called Robert Pattinson. He plays Connie. You will know Robert Pattinson. He was in Twilight, if you've seen those films.
Do you know what? I've never seen a Twilight.
I've seen the first one.
Yeah?
It was hot garbage and never watched any more. Tenet, he's in that.
Yes.
Devil All the Time, which was really good.
Yes.
That was the Tom Holland one. And The Lighthouse.
Yeah, that I've not seen that yet.
Normally it is on Netflix, though, so we do need to watch that at some point. He was in Harry Potter as well, wasn't he?
Oh, of course.
Back in the day. Also stars a guy called Benny Safdie. He plays Nick.
Yes.
Not you, but
Nope.
just a guy called Nick. He also directed this film.
Co-directed.
Co-directed this film with his brother,
Josh
Safdie. They also directed a Netflix film last year.
Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah.
Uncut Gems. They both directed that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Uncut Gems.
Can we talk about it later?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it later.
Because I will say now, I've watched both of those films this week.
Oh, really? You went with Uncut Gems after this or before?
I watched this. I don't want to give away what I thought. I was intrigued enough.
To go.
I'd wanted to watch Uncut Gems for ages. And
Yeah.
it's just a bit like The Irishman.
Yes.
I was like, oh, I really want to watch it. I've just not quite got to it. And then I watched this and I was like, do you know what? That would be interesting to watch both and maybe have a chat about them. So I've watched them both.
Fair enough.
Which is why I haven't watched that much TV. So I've watched two Safdie Brothers movies on consecutive days.
Wow.
We'll talk about Uncut Gems later.
Okay.
Carry on.
Oh, we're going to have some arguments. I like it. Also stars a lady called Jennifer Jason Leigh. She plays a character called Corey. She's been in loads of stuff.
Yeah.
She got an Oscar nomination for The Hateful Eight
Yes.
a few years ago. She plays the mum in Atypical.
Correct.
It's a Netflix sitcom.
Yeah, she was a pretty big deal in the 90s.
Back in the 90s, yeah. Woman in the Window, she's in that. Single white female.
Yeah.
That's probably what she's most famous for. I haven't written down the detail. Oh, they're the top three billed people in this film. I would argue she's not the third highest person in this.
She's the name cast, but pretty inconsequential
to the
as a
story.
character.
Yes, but I haven't written down the guy who is consequential, so I'm not going to tell you about it. When we get to him, I'll find some information. The film was, we've already talked about the directors. The film was written by Josh Safdie and a guy called Ronald Brostein, who both also wrote Uncut Gems.
Okay.
So Benny Safdie doesn't get a writing credit on this film.
Right.
His brother does. And he also doesn't get a writing credit on Uncut Gems. Where does this film start, Nick?
Nick is being, I guess, evaluated.
Yes, we meet Nick early doors.
He has a learning disability.
Yes.
And I believe he's partially deaf.
Well, he's definitely got hearing aids.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he's been quizzed by a psychologist.
Yeah, I guess so. Funny looking chap, wasn't he?
He's all crazy hair. He's a bit like Doc Brown, isn't he?
He'd play a good Doc Brown in the modern day if you wanted somebody to do it.
And Nick's being asked about his understanding of proverbs.
Yeah.
Basically, what does this mean to you? What do you think this means?
Yeah.
And we're at a kind of, I don't want to say psych hospital, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know
facility.
Yeah. I don't know the correct term for it, but that's what you'd call it, I suppose. And then just as that's all going on...
Well, he's responding, isn't he?
Yes.
But then he kind of shuts down when he notices the doctor's taking notes.
Yeah.
Because he's like, what are you writing about me?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
He doesn't like being assessed for whatever he's being assessed for. And then his brother comes in. His brother's obviously Robert Pattinson's character, Connie.
Yeah. It basically busts him out.
Pulls him out. It's like, get away from him, don't talk to my brother.
He doesn't need to be in here. Yeah. I look after him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out. Pulls him out. They go home together.
Connie, Robert Pattinson's character, just wears huge, oversized Echo jacket.
Yeah. He's that sort of guy. He's the typical New York kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hit straight into the title card from there. And then we go to a bank.
Sure.
And there's two black guys robbing a bank.
Yeah.
Except they're not.
No. They're rubber masks.
They're very convincing rubber masks.
They are pretty good.
But this is the same two guys. They're Nick and Connie robbing a bank. They're peacefully robbing a bank.
Very civilized. If you're going to rob a bank,
this is the way to do it.
This is I don't want to condone that. This is a very civilized way to try and rob a bank.
They basically hand a note to the teller
saying,
"Put the money in this bag. Don't trigger any alarms." She does what she does,
and then we get like a bit of note tennis.
Yeah,
which I maybe smirk a bit.
Yeah, she gives him some money back. He hands the note back to her saying, "I need more than that. Go to the bank and get some more or whatever." And she does. She leaves, and it's uncomfortable for a little while as she's gone. And then she comes back, and the bag's now full.
Yeah.
She hands them the bag back, and they leave. Nobody else in the bank even knew what was happening. It was a very peaceful bank robbery.
Connie sort of has to say to Nick as they're leaving, as they're going through the door, "Don't run," because he starts to run, and he's like, "I want to get this mask off." He's starting to panic.
Yeah, he doesn't like having the mask
on. Yeah, but they kind of get. He calms him down, and they find a back alley, don't they, where they can ditch the masks.
Yeah, so they head off to this back alley. They ditch the mask, ditch the clothes, and go out kind of the other side of the alley to the road opposite.
They're waiting for their wheelman.
They're waiting for the driver. Yeah, he's not there.
No,
they're expecting him to be there, and he's not there. But then he just turn up.
He says, "Yeah, I got moved on. I'll be back round in a minute."
Yeah, he picks them up. You can hear sirens going off in the background, so obviously somebody's triggered something in the bank now. And so Nick and Connie are in the back seat of this car, and there's a guy driving it.
Yeah,
he didn't seem to. Did he know them? I don't know if he knew them or not.
Kind of.
I thought it was a taxi driver at first.
I did at first, but then he makes a reference to like, "Oh, did it go all right?" or something like that.
Yeah, he must have known them.
But then you never see him again, and
no,
they're very much a duo.
Very much so.
So
they don't let anybody else.
It wasn't. So he was in on it, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He never turns up again, does he?
No,
put it that way.
So Connie gives Nick the bag to hold the money bag. I think Nick just wants to hold it.
Yeah.
And he does, and then a beeping noise starts.
Just as they unzip the bag.
Just as they unzip the bag, and then an ink bomb goes off.
Fuck me, it's a lot of ink.
It filled the car.
Yeah.
It literally filled the car.
Like a flare.
It was a proper ink explosion. The whole car was
red.
Got
red on you.
Everybody's covered in red. This red smoke billowing out of the car. And the car crashes because of this. Yeah. They crash the car. So they pull over.
Maybe the guy died.
Maybe.
The driver. I don't know.
Maybe. They don't. You never hear from him again. They never mention him again. So they get out of this car. Connie and Nick are both like bright red.
Yeah, two strawberries running down the road.
Yeah. So they run down the road. They're trying to find somewhere to get cleaned up because Nick's proper panicking now.
Yeah.
Because he's covered in this red stuff. He can't breathe. He keeps saying he's going to throw up.
Yeah, he's choking, isn't he? He's panicking.
They head to a Domino's.
Oh, was it? I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a Domino's, and they burst into this Domino's restaurant. And they just go straight to the bathroom, and the staff are like, "You can't use the bathroom.
You got to buy something. You got to
buy a pizza." But he locks himself in. They're both getting cleaned up. And they hide the money bag in the ceiling.
They do a good job of getting the red off them.
Considering it's not supposed to come off.
Yeah.
And
they are covered.
Yeah. The whole point of it is it's not supposed to come off. But Connie must have planned ahead because Nick was wearing 2 pairs of trousers.
Yeah, so on the clothes. But also
there was a possibility that it might happen. But yeah, their faces and hands, everything. So they hide the money in the ceiling of the Domino's and get themselves cleaned up and leave.
Yeah, walk back out onto the street.
Walk back out onto the street. They've got their hoods up, so you can't. They will still have red on their hair and stuff, but
you can see that there's a bit around like Nick's top of his hoodie.
Nobody's going to question it at this point now if you pass them in the street. And then a cop car drives past, and the cops do question it.
But they look fucking suspicious.
They look suspicious as anything,
regardless of the fact that you can see any red or not, because they're like heads down, hoods up.
So yeah, they're definitely being. Yeah. They're not being inconspicuous.
I'd stop them if I was a cop.
Yeah, and the cops do stop them. They're just chatting away to the cops, and then Nick kind of panics.
His bolts.
He just runs. That just triggers the cops' reaction to what?
Give chase.
They've ran. We need to follow them. They're obviously up to something. And they end up in a shopping mall, and they're running through this shopping mall.
Kind of get split up, don't they?
Yeah. Do you want to know an interesting fact about this shopping mall?
Yes, please.
It was not closed at the time.
Oh, wow. Guerrilla filming.
All the people reaction in this shopping mall is genuine.
Nice.
And apparently even some members of the public tried to stop the actors who were playing the cops from chasing these two guys.
Wow, like it.
So, yeah, apparently it says that in the IMDb True. I thought it was quite interesting. But they kind of get split up. Nick's not as fast as Connie is. and they end up going in opposite directions. Nick runs through a plate glass window.
Yeah, he's he's running and he turns to see where the cop is, and he kind of trips / runs straight through this glass door.
Which knocks him out.
And that's that. He's cuffed.
The cops catch him. He's cuffed. He's done. He's arrested him. But Connie manages to get away. We stay with Nick for a little while, don't we? He gets handcuffed, gets put in a cell.
Yeah, so he goes into the holding area in prison, and the credits roll. We're like 25 minutes in.
I've written that down a bit later on. The credits are still going. It's like it does go on the credits go on for ages.
James Bond film or something.
The credits don't stop. I think for about another 2 pages of my notes. He gets put in this holding cell, and there's lots of people.
It's a war zone in there.
Yeah, there's loads of people in there, and obviously when you put a load of criminals in one room together, fighting's going to start breaking out, and it does. The cops come along, pepper spray everybody.
Yeah, and obviously Nick's face is all fucked up from running through the glass door.
Yeah,
Annie's now full of pepper spray.
There's lots of screaming and noises going on. Everybody's in a blind. The one defining trait of this film, the same as it is for Uncut Gems, is how chaotic it is.
Yeah,
it's if you've seen Uncut Gems, you know the exact style of this film. It's just pure chaos the whole time, and it really makes me uncomfortable.
I think that's the goal.
It is the goal.
I think,
but I don't find it entertain. It doesn't entertain me because
it's an assault on your senses. It's a deliberate assault on your senses.
Yeah, it is,
and that is the style that it's
guys
here in this movie. And then it's amped up in Uncut Gems.
Yeah, 100%. This isn't as obvious as it is in Uncut Gems. But there's always music playing in this film as well. There's always like music in the background. Yeah. There's always people shouting.
I like
it puts me on edge and I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable.
And I think the soundtrack is to be credited to that as part of that sort of engineering. The sort of synth soundtrack it's a part when it needs to be. It's quite sort of ethereal and dreamlike. Because when we get later on in this movie and Connie's been up for like, I don't know, 36 hours and it's 4 a.m. in the morning and everything's a bit wispy. But it is also quite jarring when it needs to be. And
it is all purely intentional. It's their style of filmmaking.
Do you know the guy who did the soundtrack's got the best name?
Oh, go on.
Do you want to know his name?
Yes.
10 Tricks Point Never.
10 Tricks Point Never?
Yeah.
What a great name.
This is that's what he goes
Sounds
by.
like a radio handle.
Daniel Lopatin. Yeah, I thought it was a good. Yeah,
we'll come to
good
it more
work
at the
on
end.
the soundtrack.
We'll come to that more at the end, but it makes me uncomfortable. Like I said, everybody gets pepper sprayed, and then we cut back to Connie. Connie goes back to the Domino's and rescues the money.
Yeah, still there. No drama there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I thought, is that what the money's not going to be there? Is that what this film's going to be about?
Yeah, but no, the money's there. He gets all the money. He asked for 65 grand, I think, from the bank teller in the bank when he robbed it. I'm sure it was 65. That's not what he gets. I've written here the credits are still going. And he takes it to a bail bondsman.
Yeah, he says, I got the money. Is this enough to get my
brother out of prison?
The guy counts it, to be fair.
He counts it.
A lot of it. He entertains it more than I thought he was going to.
A lot of it's covered in red ink.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I can't use any of that. So he separates it basically into 2 piles, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And usable money, he's got $16,480. And the bail bondsman's like, it's not enough. You need another 10 grand.
Yeah.
You need to bring me 10 grand by the morning and I'll get your brother out on bail.
Yeah, sure. I'll call the judge straight away.
And that's what this film's about.
Yeah. We're in to cut back to Nick in prison, isn't he? And he's, like, as we say, he has learning disabilities, so he's not learning quick in prison. No. He's watching TV, isn't he? Yeah. And then a load of other guys come in, they want to change the channel. He's like, well, I'm here. This is what I want to watch. And we're in prison. Yeah. We're in New York. It results in a brawl. And Nick is beaten bad.
Yes, he is. Well, he dishes it out as well, but he is beaten.
But eventually the numbers game gets him.
Connie, meanwhile, goes to meet Corey. We meet her for the first time. That's his on-off girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah.
She seems a bit like she's got some learning disabilities as well. She's...
I think she's...
Drugs, maybe?
Yeah.
She's more of a smackhead.
Because she's older.
She is older, yeah. It's Jennifer Jason Leigh. Yeah. She's much older. She's much older than Robert Pattinson, for definitely.
Still lives with her mum, who's like obviously had enough of this woman.
Yeah, and her mum doesn't like Connie either. No. Just to the point where she won't even open the door when he gets there. So they go out to have a chat. Connie's a strange name for a man. That's what's throwing me here, I think.
Especially when what's her name? Corey. It's really similar.
Which is a man's name.
And she,
confusing me.
we kind of come in and they're in this cab, and she's. It's quite clear to us, and I think it's quite well done that she's starting a conversation that they've had many times before.
Yeah,
because she's like, well, we're going to run away to here. We're going to go to Mexico.
He's obviously told her that when he's robbed this bank,
yeah,
he's going to take her away.
Yeah, going to go and live that sweet life in the sun.
And now he's trying to tell her that that's not going to happen, but at the same time, it will still happen at some point.
Yeah.
But Nick's in prison, and that needs to be the focus.
He lies to her, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he lies all the way through this.
There's no truthful words.
And again, there's a lot of similarities to Connie's character in this and Adam Sandler's character in Uncut Gems, because they are just forever trying to chase the next lie to get to the next thing or do the next deal. And he says that Nick is in prison, but it's because he attacked his counselor.
Yeah. He tells her he's on Rikers Island.
Yeah.
And he says to her, "Look, I know your mum's credit card's good for a couple of grand. Can I borrow some money?" He asks her to borrow some money, and he doesn't really give a chance to say no. And he takes her to the bail bondsman office at the time, like there and then.
Yeah.
So she has no choice but to say yes. Connie has a chat with the bail bondsman and says, "Look, she's got 10 grand. Connie's like, this is going to really fuck me over. Corey's like, 10 grand? I haven't got 10 grand. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you said it was a couple.
Yeah, you said you wanted a couple of grand. The bail bondsman's like, look, it's 8:30. I think he said it was 8:30 at night. It's late now.
Judge goes to dinner at 9.
Judge goes to dinner at 9.
Let's
It's
do it in
late
the
for a
morning.
judge's dinner, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's like, I can try, but there's no chance I'm getting him out tonight, but I will try for you. So he makes a phone call. He finds out that Nick's in hospital. And whilst he's finding that out, his assistant finds out that Corey's cards decline. So because her mum's cancelled all the cards the minute she saw Connie turn up.
I really like this scene.
Yeah, this was the best scene.
It was absolutely chaotic.
It was pure. The whole film's chaos, but this was really like
because
everybody's talking all at the same time.
Yeah. So Connie's talking to the bail bondsman. The bail bondsman is on 2 phones because he's talking to the judge and he's talking to the
hospital, maybe
hospital. Yeah. Or the prison warden who's told him that the brother's in hospital. Corey's having an argument with her mother.
Yeah. On the phone as well.
On the phone, and the secretary is trying to send the card payment through. So there's like 5 conversations happening between these 4 people, and it's absolutely chaotic.
It's
really well engineered, isn't it?
Works.
To put that together as a director.
Yeah.
That organised chaos.
Yeah. I find it like, it really sets me on edge, and I know it's supposed to, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. But Connie's in the middle of these other people, and he's kind of screaming at all of them at the same time because he's trying to calm Corey down, and he's trying to find out why the cards declined, whilst also trying to find out what's going on with Nick. Yeah. And it's just chaos. Everybody's just shouting over each other. It's the same as Uncut Gems, isn't it? That whole film's just people shouting over each other.
What did you think of? I thought Pattinson was really good in this scene.
Yeah, agreed. I thought he was really good overall, but I do quite like him anyway.
I think he was good overall. Yeah. I thought he... this is all him. He anchors this whole film.
Yeah, he does. It's basically his film. He's pretty much the only one in it.
Yeah.
There's him and another guy who turns up later on. But other than that...
I think he does a really good job.
I'm excited for his Batman.
Okay.
I really want to see what he's going to do with it. So
I think he needs to be good because I think there's a lot of tiredness and sort of really another
Yeah, agreed. There is.
So to overcome that, he's gonna have to be good.
While at the same time, he's still trying to get over the Twilight thing.
Yeah.
Because there are people out there who just see him as the guy from Twilight.
Sure.
So he's got to try and get past that at the same time. It's going to be tough for him.
If you'd have asked me for a 1-word review for this movie,
fuck's sake.
It probably would have been like Neon Vampire.
Neon Vampire, I like it. I did ask you just then.
Okay. So yeah, this was a good scene. I thought it was a really good scene.
I think it's the best scene in the film, but it made my heart pound.
Oh, it does. It's chaos.
It is chaos. Where did it go from there? So Connie's mum's cancelled all the cards.
They find out. Yeah, they find out which hospital Nick is in.
Yeah, and Connie says to the bail bondsman, "Give me the rest of the money back, then.
Yeah,
and I'll bring you the rest." And he won't.
He's like, "It's mine.
It's mine now.
It's in my safe."
Yeah.
So Connie just ditches all of them.
Yeah.
Leaves Corey there.
Yeah.
I don't think we see her again.
No, maybe not. No, I don't think we do. He speaks to her on the phone later on.
Yeah, leaves her crying in the bondsman's office. Yeah. And he's off.
He goes back to the hospital. Well, he goes to the hospital because he found out which hospital Nick was in, so he heads over there. He tricks one of the orderlies into figuring out which floor he's going to be on.
Yeah.
And he eventually finds out which room he's in.
He says all the prisoners are on a certain floor.
Yeah, 6th floor, I think. He goes up to the 6th floor. He finds the room being guarded by a cop. That must be Nick's room.
Sure.
And he manages to distract the cop.
No, he just waits him out.
Did it? I kind of missed this bit.
So he chats to the cop, but he says something about, oh, my dad's dying or something, and well, I'm having a terrible day. And the cop sort of engages him in conversation.
I remember that bit.
And then he says something like, oh, I'm going to get a coffee. Do you want one? The cop says no. So I think his plan was, try and see if we can draw him away. That doesn't work. So he goes into the next room.
Oh, he does, yeah.
And he literally just waits for the cop to leave.
Right, okay.
Because the cop eventually goes and gets a coffee.
So whilst the cop's gone, he gets Nick out of bed. His face is all bandaged up because he's obviously been beat up quite badly. And he gets him into a wheelchair, wheels him out the front door of the hospital.
He's unconscious.
Yeah, he's unconscious.
It's like we were a bit weekend at Bernie's here.
Yeah, he's quite brazen about it. He goes past the security desk. He just wheels him out the front door of the hospital.
He just banks on no one.
Yeah, nobody's going to question
an eyelid.
Yeah.
No one does.
And he finds a dial-a-ride bus, which is basically a bus that takes people home from hospital.
This was a bit convenient.
Yeah, but they do exist. It is a thing.
Yeah, it's plausible,
Yeah,
but it was right there exactly when he needed it.
Yeah, it was. So he's just
they were literally loading someone up.
Literally loading somebody up, and he gets himself onto this bus.
They just ride it to the end of the line.
Yeah, they just go to the end, don't they? There's an old couple on there.
Yeah.
And they get dropped off.
So he says, when they drop the last couple off...
Yes, he says to the driver...
The driver says, oh...
You're not on my list.
Yeah, I only had 3 stops. And Connie says, well, we definitely were due to come on this bus. He said, they told us to come here. We're only 2 blocks.
Yeah, can you just take me out anyway?
Yeah, so we assumed that you knew.
Yeah.
That's
because we thought you were the last stop because we were only 2 blocks away.
So the driver's like, I can't really be bothered to ring up and check. I'll drop you off.
So he does.
They're nowhere near where they need to be.
No, they're nowhere near. They don't really even know where they need to be. They don't technically have anywhere to go. And then he decides the best course of action would be to go back to this old couple's apartment where they
were the previous
drop off, and say, look, we've locked out of our house. Can I just, because he had a bit of a eye to eye with this woman, didn't he? He seemed to bond with her a little bit.
Yeah, they sort of, were nodding friends, I guess. Because they were both pushing someone in a wheelchair.
Basically, yeah. So he knocks on the door and says, look, we're locked out of our house. Our mum's not at home. Can we borrow your phone?
Yeah.
She's a bit reluctant, but she lets them in. She says, yeah.
He has to win a round.
Yeah, he does have to win a round. But she's like, yeah, use the phone. And he makes a fake phone call to a mother that doesn't exist to say, look, when you get in from work, we're locked out. Come and pick us up. Yeah. We're here. And then after that, he tricks this woman into giving them a room as well.
Well, he says, look, can my brother stay here?
Yeah, I'll go and do whatever. But
wait for my mum.
But he's unconscious and his face is still bandaged up.
I can't leave him outside. It's too cold.
He's basically preying on this woman's goodwill. And it works. She says, yep, stay in this room.
That's not a big mistake. A big mistake is saying now out loud to a granddaughter who is also there.
Yeah.
Right, I've had a tough day. I'm going to take some pills and go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll see you in 12 hours.
Yeah. So Nick's Connie's like, I've got this place now basically to myself for 12 hours. There's this granddaughter here, but she's no asshole. And then he goes into the bathroom and bleaches his hair.
Yeah, he just steals some hair dye.
Finds some bleach. Bleaches his hair. So for the rest of this film now, he's got bleach blonde hair.
The granddaughter, the kid's like, what are you doing with hair dye?
Why have you dyed your hair?
And he just goes, oh, I'm a bit weird. She's like, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Fair play. She's all right. He's all right with that. She's all right with that. Corey calls him at this. No, does he call Corey? Because she can come and pick me up. I can get out of here because she can come and pick me up.
Yeah.
And
she says, I can't come till 5 a.m. or something like that.
I'm locked in till 5 a.m. or something. So he decides, right, well, I've at least got to stay here till 5 a.m. My posters just fell off the wall. How strange. It's a ghost. This house haunted. Yeah. I don't know if I told you that before.
You have, yeah.
He's like, well, I've got to at least wait till 5 a.m. I might as well make the most of this. He puts Nick in front of the TV, goes out and has a chat with a young girl.
Yeah, they watch the other TV. She turns out her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend's a drug dealer, so they sit and smoke weed.
Yeah. And then the news comes on.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's a news story about Nick escaping from prison.
It's them robbing the bank.
Them robbing the bank, sorry. And obviously he doesn't want this young girl to know about this, so he decides he's just going to kiss her.
He does.
To distract her from the TV. And then he takes her into the bedroom. And he looks like he's going to...
Yeah, they're going to full on get it on.
They're going to do some naughty. But then they hear a banging and a clattering coming from the room that they left Nick in.
Indeed.
So he runs upstairs at full bore because he knows Nick's a big guy and he could do some damage.
He's coming around.
He's coming around if he doesn't know where he is. Unfortunately, this isn't Nick.
No, it took me a minute or two to cotton onto this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because it's dark and he's he's got his face bandaged.
Face is all bandaged up. He's clearly a smaller guy, but Connie's obviously missed that.
It wasn't until sort of Pattinson was on top of him, forcing a
because he was trying to shut him
painkiller
up.
into his mouth.
This guy's freaking out because he doesn't know where he is. He's just woken up
exactly.
in this mysterious woman's house, and now Connie's lying on top of him, trying to keep him quiet from waking up everybody else in the house. So he's broken the wrong guy out of hospital.
Yeah.
So, and he's also spotted a car outside. So he says to the young girl, I didn't catch the young girl's name, I apologise. He asks her to find the car keys. He's like, we need to get out of here. And she goes with him. She finds the car keys. She gets in the car with the two guys, and they all leave together.
Yeah. She just wants to go on an adventure.
Yeah,
doesn't
she's just bored of her life, I think. But there was one scene before this where I've not written it down, but she offered to cook him some chicken nuggets because there was no food in the house.
Yeah.
And he went in the fridge. What was going on with the fridge? There was like weird liquids in the fridge.
Yeah, it was just bottles of piss
in the fridge. But
yeah, you're right.
Didn't explain what it was. It was really strange.
Then the girl was just like, "Oh,
don't go in there. We don't keep food in the fridge. I've got some chicken nuggets." It was so weird. It never explained what it was. So they all leave together in this car. As they drive away out of the area, the whole area seems to be crawling with cops.
The cops are interviewing the dial-a-ride guy.
Yeah.
And they're basically backtracking.
There's cops everywhere.
Backtracing the steps of this bus, aren't they?
Yeah. And then Nick drives the car to the hospital, and the guy who's in the back seat's like, what the fuck are you going to the hospital for? It's covered in cops.
Yeah. He's like, I've got to find my brother. He's like, I do not want to be back near this hospital.
No, I've literally just inadvertently, accidentally escaped from prison. Get away from this hospital. Connie wasn't really thinking at that point, I don't think.
He's still trying to formulate his plan, isn't he?
Yeah. So then the guy, I think, what's the guy called Ray or Roy?
Ray.
He kind of explains his story a little bit at this point.
Yeah, they go to a White Castle.
Yeah.
And they send the girl in to get them the food. And then this kind of turns into a bit of a comedy for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, there is,
because we get Ray's
a bit of a comedy character, isn't he?
Yeah, of how he ended up in the hospital.
Yeah, he basically says, look, I only got out of prison yesterday. I'm on parole.
He basically went on a bender.
He went on a bender, yeah. I've written he's very shouty. He literally, as soon as he got out of prison, he downed a bottle of brandy, and then he took some pills, and then he took some acid, and then he went to a games arcade.
Yeah, with his friends.
To
sell
acid. The cops turned up. They escaped with the drug money and the acid into a theme park.
Got a Sprite bottle full of acid.
Yeah, he's got literally a Sprite bottle, and they escape into this like theme park, adventure park it was called.
Yeah.
And they hide the money and the acid in a ride.
It's like a ghost train
type ride. And then he escaped into a taxi. This is all this guy's telling the story, but we're also seeing it at the same time. And like the rest of this film is pure chaos of what's going on. So he escaped in this taxi. The driver of the taxi figures out what's going on.
Well, he figures out he's got no money. And Ray says, well, just take me home and I can get you some money. Just got out of prison.
I'll get you some money. Yeah. My mum's got some money. So he's like, no, I'm taking you to the cops. So Ray makes this decision that he's going to jump out of this cab.
Yeah.
Because he thinks it's only going about 30 to 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. It was going like 60.
Like 70 it was doing on the speedo. And he jumps out of this cab, and that's how he ended up in hospital.
Sure. Connie instantly says...
Connie was not listening after the point where he said,
there's money and the acid.
There's money and acid hidden in Adventure Park. Because by the time Ray's finished the story, he's already Googling where this place is. He's one step ahead of us. And so they go there. This film doesn't hang around.
They wait for the girl to come out with the food.
Yeah, she's got the food. He eats some. They all eat some food, and then they go to Adventure Park.
Crystal, her name was.
Was it Crystal?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. They leave her outside. They tell her that it's the bloke. That this is where the guy lives.
Connie he's silver tongued, doesn't he? He says, I think we've got a connection tonight.
She's like 16.
If you can just wait here. Yeah. We've just got something to do, and then we'll be back.
Yeah. So they go in. They go into this Adventure Park.
I've just put it this way: everything he says is a lie. Literally every line.
Yeah, it is. They go to the park. Long story short, they find the acid, but they don't find the money because they get interrupted by a security guard.
Yeah,
who was played by Bakadafdi, I think his name is, who's brilliant in everything he does. And he is kind of shouting at them to come out, and he eventually spots Ray.
Yeah, Ray gets busted,
and he gets busted. But then so Connie takes a run for it. And he manages to beat the guy up eventually.
Yeah, he does.
He beats the security guard up.
Really viciously.
Really quite violently. He literally knocks him unconscious. Goes back to the security guard's office.
Yeah.
Releases Ray, who's been handcuffed in there. And then they go back to try and find the money again.
So the guard had switched the ghost train on.
Yes. So
by
it's
this
lit up
point
a little bit now.
to try and help him find Connie.
Yeah.
They still can't find the cash.
They're still struggling with the money. Somebody's triggered the alarms or something because the cops all show up.
Oh, they find the acid.
They do find the acid, yeah. So they've got the bottle of 7-Up, but they haven't got the money. And then there's loads of cops show up outside. So they have to think quick. And Connie comes up with a plan.
This was disgusting.
Yeah, it really was.
To do this to a person, it was just disgusting.
It really was. So they take the security guard's clothes.
This was a point when why any sympathy for Connie went out the window for me.
I agree. They take the security guard's clothes. Connie dresses up as him.
Yeah.
Even though he's a much bigger guy than the security guard, a much, much bigger guy. And then Ray pours a load of acid into his mouth.
Yeah.
Which you're supposed to take like one drop of this stuff.
Yeah.
And he pours loads down his throat. It was really harsh. Connie goes out to greet the cops, pretending to be the security guard.
Yep.
Says,
yeah, we've subdued this guy.
We found a guy inside. He's unconscious.
They arrest the black guy straight away.
Yeah, no questions asked. And they did you see the other guy? Because there must be another guy because this guy's been beat up. So
no, he says the security guard called it in. There's two intruders.
Yeah.
So.
He says the cops say to Connie, turn all of the lights on in the park.
Yeah.
Let's sort this out.
Which, if I'm being cynical, that's just put in this to make this give us a really interesting setting for the next few minutes of this film.
Yeah, exactly. While that's happening, there's a medic there now with the police who's looking into why the security guard's unconscious. He wakes up, starts freaking out.
Oh, he's talking gibberish.
Talking absolute gibberish because he's got shitloads of acid in his system. The cops spot Crystal outside, so she kind of gets arrested. Or, why are you here, young girl?
Connie sells her out.
He does. Sells Ray.
Straight away.
Let's get arrested.
Yeah, let's get arrested. The policeman says, was this the other one? He does say, no, it wasn't a girl. Yeah. But he's like, he doesn't help her.
No, he doesn't help her.
So she gets taken away.
Yeah. Do we see her again?
Nope.
No. Okay. So girls just disappear in this film. So, and everybody leaves. Ray's still hiding somewhere. The security guard's gone to hospital. The cops have all gone.
Connie calls the hospital.
Yeah, so he goes into the
for
office.
Info on his brother. They won't give him any.
No, because he's a prisoner. And then he destroys the hard drive with all the security camera footage on of what's happened that night. And then they leave without the money.
But they do have the acid.
They do have the bottle of Sprite. They've spilled quite a lot of it down this security guard's throat. And then where do they go here? They go to somebody's apartment, but didn't
they go to the guard's house?
Oh, it's the security guard's house. Okay,
so they get in his car. They've got his wallet.
I knew they got in his car.
So they go to his flat.
Okay, I couldn't figure out whose apartment it was. I was like, who is this? Where are they? And Connie's like, right, we need to sell this acid.
Yeah,
we need to sell it right.
He's like, how much can I get for this?
Like now.
Yeah,
without shopping it around or anything. Just what can I get for it? And so Ray says, look, I know the guy who owns it. I know who it is. Let me call him. Yeah. We'll get him down here. He'll probably give you a reward for it. Sell it back to him. The news report comes on the TV again while they're there.
The sun's starting to come up by now.
Yeah.
Because this is all happening over one night. Ray has gone straight back on the booze.
Yeah, it's literally... He's got like a brown bottle of something, like a liqueur or something. Yeah. So the news report comes on, basically says, it's talking about Nick and how Nick had apparently beat up his grandma or caused his grandma to break her arm or something.
He threw a pan at her.
That was it, yeah. He threw a hot pan at her. And the news report does say Connie is still on the run. It puts a picture of Connie up on the screen. So Ray knows now that all is not good. I think he knew that anyway.
This was quite a good bit for Pattinson as a performance-wise because he goes off on Ray now because he's like, you're a fuck up. Yeah. And Ray's like, well, so are you. And Connie really thinks he's a class above Ray.
Yeah.
Because
he even says that.
You just got out of prison and you got fucked up. And Ray's like, well, you're a fucking loser as well. Look at you.
Because Ray says to him, oh, you think you're just better than me. Yeah. And Connie's like, I am better than you.
He's not.
It's not. No, he's not. So they argue about who is better as a person. Then the door tannoy goes off.
It does, yeah.
And it's Caliph. He's the guy who owns the...
It's Ray's dealer, basically.
Acid, yeah.
Yeah,
it's Ray's mate, his dealer. And Connie says to him, I want 15 grand.
You can have your bottle back.
Right now. And I can have my bottle back. He's also saying this whilst he's locked in the bedroom with a dog.
Yeah.
Which happened to just be there. And he has an affinity with dogs.
Yeah, he calms this dog down, doesn't he, when they first go in?
He mentions it earlier in the film. He's got this like thing where he can calm dogs down. And Caliph says, look, I can get you $1,000.
Yeah.
I can go to the cash point downstairs, get you $1,000, job done. And then he changes that to $3,000. Connie's holding his balls. He's like, I'm having 15. So Caliph's like, right, it'll take me some time. You'll have to give me till tonight.
No, he says 3 hours or something
3 hours,
like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But he says, I'll get you the 15 grand.
He sort of turns to Ray and says, right, I'm going to go and get a gun and come back.
Yeah. Let's sort this shit out.
Yeah.
Did Connie hear that? Because as soon as Caliph leaves, Connie's like, right, I'm out.
I don't know if he heard it, but he clearly was like, well, he was suspect. He's not going to come back with 15 grand. He's not going to come back with 15 grand. So he leaves. He's like, right, I'm out of it. And Ray's trying to stop him because Ray's like, you can't. Because Khalifa said, keep him here.
Yeah.
Make sure you're here when I'm back.
Connie leaves. The dog bites Ray as it's leaving.
Yeah, they kind of have a scrap in the corridor, don't they?
And then you see the rest of it from Ray's perspective. No, Connie's perspective. No, Ray's perspective. In the flat, he's still in the flat. And he's
Ray goes to the balcony. Doesn't he?
So he's kind of looking down over the area, and he can see Connie leaving.
Yeah,
and then a load of cops turn up.
He rings. Yeah, because he rings Caliph, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and Caliph says, "There's cops everywhere. I'm not coming back."
Yeah, I'm not coming back. There's cops everywhere. You can see Connie being chased and eventually getting caught. And he drops the bottle of acid, and Ray spots where this bottle of acid is. So he gets back on the phone to Caliph. He's like, he's on top of the parking lot. He's dropped the acid. You can't miss it.
It's in a Sprite bottle.
It's in a Sprite bottle. You can't miss it. It's on the roof of the parking lot.
By this time, the cops have really quickly
got up into the building.
Got up and knocking on the door.
So they're knocking on the door. So he's only got one choice here. He's got to get out the window. So he does. He tries to escape out the window.
We switch to Connie's perspective.
Yeah. So he's now being put in the back of a cop car, looking up
at Ray.
Because the cops are like, shit, there's a man coming out the window. And then he falls out the window.
He goes splat.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you're watching him trying to get out this window, and then he just drops like a bomb. And that's the end of Ray. We don't see him again either. And then Connie gets driven away, and it lingers on him for ages.
Yes.
Because we're coming up to the end of the film now.
I mean, I just will say here, I didn't like my Netflix because my thumbnail is Robert Pattinson sitting in the back of a cop car behind like the grid.
Oh, really?
And it's literally the last shot of him in the movie.
It's the last shot of the film. Wow.
Oh, it's the last shot of him in the movie.
Okay, I don't think mine was. I don't know. I can't remember. So he's getting driven away, being arrested by the cop. And then we cut back to Nick. No, Nick's now in a waiting room somewhere.
Yep.
With his grandma.
And the psychologist.
And the psychologist turns up again. And he's like, come with me. I've found you this group of people that you can bond with.
He says to Nick, your brother's done a good thing.
Yeah.
He says, wish it hadn't come to this. Yeah. But he says, you're both in the right place.
Yeah.
I think inferring Connie's in prison and Nick's back at this
hospital.
Psych hospital.
And he says to him, look, come and meet these people.
Give it a chance. I think you'll like it.
Come and meet these people. And they're playing a game. And basically the credits for the film start rolling as Nick's he's reluctant at first, but then he starts playing this game with people. And it's like cross the room if you've done this, basically. Yeah. It's a bit like Have You Ever? Never Have I Ever. And they're playing it and the film ends.
Yeah, it just fades out, doesn't it?
Yeah, what did you think?
I mean, it's an assault on your senses.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, this is, having watched both of these movies this week, this and Uncut Gems, it's very much the Safdie Brothers method.
Yeah, very much so. They're very much their style.
It's go and it's just induce panic. It's stressful. Yes. It's stressful to watch.
That's why I don't like them, I think.
I mean,
it stresses me out.
And this is nowhere near as stressful as Uncut Gems. I'll come back to this in a sec.
Yeah.
I watched Uncut Gems the day after.
Yeah.
I felt like I was having a panic attack for 2 hours.
Same. When I didn't like Uncut Gems at all because it made me feel horrible.
Now,
and I got the same vibe from this, but maybe because I'd watched this first, I was thinking of Uncut Gems at the same time.
Right.
I said to you last night, if I'd have known this was directed by those two people, I wouldn't have ever put it on the long list.
No, I think it's great. I think it's great. You've had to come back for more. I enjoyed this movie.
I enjoy it? That's the question.
I thought it was a good story.
I didn't hate it. I followed it and I followed the story, and I did prefer it to Uncut Gems.
Okay.
I don't think I can say I enjoyed it because it doesn't. I don't enjoy that feeling of it puts me on edge.
I know. I could totally understand why people would think that.
Yeah, I get where it's got its place in the world, And I understand why people went crazy for Uncut Gems last year. Incidentally, they're both exactly the same rating on IMDb.
Okay.
They're both rated a 7.4 out of 10.
I preferred Uncut Gems, but we'll come to that in a minute. As far as this goes, I was invested.
Yes.
Once I was tuned into the style,
yeah,
I think probably half an hour or so in, I was like, right, I know what this is now.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'm there. I'm invested, and I want to see what happens. But it is an assault on the senses. It is just the character of Connie just lurches from one mistake to the next mistake to the next mistake, and it's really it's quite tiring actually.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And you know, the soundtrack is there as well, but the performances are good, the story is good. I can understand why people wouldn't like this. I think it took me a bit of time to adjust to what this was. Once I got there, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm along for the ride here.
I found myself counting down the minutes till it ended.
Right. And
it wasn't because I wasn't enjoying it. I was sitting there thinking, this is all right. I'm understanding what's going on. I'm quite enjoying it, but I can't wait for it to end. And I'm like, I just think it just triggers something. Their films just trigger something in me that's like, they're too much. There's too much going on. The music's going on, there's shouting going on, there's always noises in the background, and everybody's always talking at the same time. And I think it's just too much for me.
I think
I get it.
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I think that's fine. But if you put that aside a little bit, I think
completely.
I just think there's a lot to admire. There's a lot of engineering, like we talked about that scene where all that chaos going. To engineer that, and to write that, or to ad lib some of it, however it's done.
I can see why this is a great film. It's just for me, it's not.
Yeah, and I think you can see why this, to a lesser extent, and Uncut Gems as well, was so critically acclaimed.
Yeah,
because there's a distinct style to them both. It's not going to be for everyone.
No, yeah, that scene in the
I liked it. I liked this movie.
That scene in the bail bondsman office where it's chaos for like 10 minutes. Uncut Gems is that.
Yeah, it is. The whole it's film. That all the way through.
Yeah, it's. And I think that's what put me off it a little bit, because I was like, I can't do another film like this. Yeah. It's just too much.
This has a little bit more breathing room than Uncut Gems.
That's fair to say. I'd agree with that. I think this is better. If I was going to watch one, if I was forced to watch one of them again, I'd watch this one.
Okay. So all right, let's do Uncut Gems briefly now before we rank this. I watched that the day after.
Yeah.
I totally agree with everything you said. It is an assault.
Yeah.
And it is tiring, and I did feel like I was having a panic attack for 2 hours.
Same.
Because it just goes, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? This guy that Adam Sandler's playing is just he's an idiot.
Yes.
He's horrible and unlikable, yet you kind of root for him a bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought it was absolutely magnificent. I loved it.
Really?
I thought it was one of the best movies I've seen in ages.
Wow. I like I said a minute ago, I get why people see them as good films. I just can't do it.
There's a scene in Uncut Gems when Kevin Garnett brings the gem back.
Yes.
And Sandler's character's been trying to get this rock back for about 45 minutes at this point in the length of the movie. And he finally brings it back to his office because he thinks he needs to get it to the auction and all this stuff. It's all building up to a climax. And he gets in the office and he literally can't give him the rock back because the door's broken.
Yeah.
And it's similar to the scene in this that we talked about with the bail bondsman. But not only you've got like 6 conversations, you've got a door buzzer going off. And I was literally sitting there watching it going, oh, this is going to fry my brain. It's doing me over.
That's exactly how I was watching it.
But then I came away from the whole thing and I was like, fuck me, I feel like I've like lived an experience watching that.
Yeah, both of these films are like that. I don't like it.
I can totally see that. I loved Uncut Gems. I thought it was absolutely magnificent. I thought it was outstanding.
I understand that. They're just not for me.
Yeah.
They're just not.
This was very good. It wasn't as good as Uncut Gems, but I enjoyed it.
Maybe I think this is better because it's a bit more peaceful than that. Cool.
There's the other thing they both reminded me of. One of my favourite movies is Goodfellas.
Yes.
And there's a scene towards the end of Goodfellas where Ray Liotta's character does a load of coke and cooks like a huge dinner. I can't remember if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. I can't remember. And he's already paranoid and he does all these drugs. And it's about 15 to 20 minutes. He's getting followed by the helicopters and it's really manic. Both of these films are like that, but for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Yeah, they're an experience.
They really are. If you like one, you're going to like the other.
Yeah.
Put it that way. What's the best thing about it?
I think this is some of the best acting performances we've seen.
Yeah.
I think Patterson's really good.
I'd agree with that. Apparently, he got the role because he saw a picture from just a photograph from one of their other movies, and contacted them and said, "I want to work with you just from this one picture." And they wrote that part for him. And that's how he got into it. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the acting is brilliant because to do stuff like that is really difficult as well, where everybody's just talking all at the same time.
I think the other thing for me is probably, I think you feel New York as a character.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
Like it does
the grimy side of New York.
Yeah, definitely. It does evoke some of that sort of. I'm not saying it's nowhere near as good a film as these, but you obviously you look back to some of that Scorsese stuff where you got like Taxi Driver, and it's like, oh, this place it's a character, it's horrible, it's seedy, it's grimy, it's neon, it really comes through that this is a guy who's like on the edge of sanity, and because he's not been to sleep for 3 days.
Yeah.
And he's just lurching from one bad decision to the next.
Yeah, you don't need to be told that this film's set in New York.
No.
You can just tell.
Yeah.
Just from your history with movies. So what would you change about it?
I'm not sure how I feel about Why did we not have a learning impaired person play the character of...
Yeah, that's fair.
Nick?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I felt like, is this a bit self-indulgent having one of the directors play this character?
Yeah,
that was in the back of my mind a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. And even it's only 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah,
it probably wouldn't happen now, even in that short time period.
Something just didn't quite. And he was good.
He was.
I
really
thought it was a good performance. Don't get me wrong, but I just thought, well, why are you doing this? Why have you given yourself this job?
Yeah, it's a bit of an ego, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'll give myself
so
this.
I really like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
How about you?
I'd change the directors.
Look, this is their gimmick, and this is what you're going to get, isn't it?
Like I said to you, if I'd have known that they were making it, I wouldn't have ever watched.
But you enjoyed this more than Uncut Gems.
Yes,
there you go.
I'm not in the market to watch any more of their stuff.
That's a personal choice.
It is.
Can understand that,
and I get it, that why people would like it. It's just not for me, as I've said like 4 times. Do you want to talk Stream Table?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is going to be a tough one, isn't it? I might just take the lead on this.
I'm torn on it, to be honest.
Well, you tell me where you think it goes.
Well, I'm not
see if I agree.
I'm not entirely sure. Do
you want me to read the table out?
Yeah, go for it.
Currently at the bottom of the stream for season 6 is Secret Obsession, followed by American Mary, and then Destruction Las Vegas. Classic Horror Stories in 4th, Containment's in 3rd, Arlo the Alligator Boy is at number 2, and What Happened to Monday is at number 1.
Part of me thinks there's an argument for this being top.
Okay.
In terms of technically, I think it's the best story. I think it's well told. I think it's the best performances. But it is not an easy watch.
No. I would argue.
And What Happened to Monday was a lot of fun.
Yes. And the performances in that are great.
Yeah, they are.
And the story's good.
Yeah. I ultimately think it kind of feels like this is much more of a me film than a you film.
100%.
A lot of times when I'm not quite sure, I will fall back, to be fair, to I did have more fun watching What Happened to Monday.
Same. I wouldn't allow you to put this at number 1.
But I think if we're doing, in a lot of ways, this is the best film we've seen. Objectively, from a technical achievement.
Technically, yes, I agree. But it isn't.
But I don't think I want to put it at number 1.
Okay, good.
Which may surprise you. I don't know if you were expecting that.
No, I don't think I was expecting you to say it was better than What Happened to Monday.
Okay.
I'm expecting you to put it there, though.
I think I would like to have it at number 2.
I don't think I can argue that, because I understand why I don't like this film.
Yeah.
But I understand why that's very personal to me, and I get why it's a good film.
Yeah.
It's a position it's a position I've never been put in before. I really enjoyed Arlo the Alligator Boy.
Oh, me too.
And I know you did as well.
Yeah.
I'd happily see it under that, but I will accept it if you don't want to put it under that.
No, I think this is...
It's better than Containment.
Yeah.
It is somewhere in the top 3 for me as well, but I personally think Arlo's better.
Yeah, I think... look, I had a great time watching Arlo the Alligator Boy, but... I can't believe we're comparing these 2 movies.
That's the problem with the show, isn't it? How can you compare these 2 movies?
I also, in a way, wanted a bit more from that. I don't think that...
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Some of the songs weren't great.
That's fair.
But I loved... There's parts that I absolutely loved. No, this, for me, if
let's put it second.
This gets the edge.
Yeah, okay. I'm on one with you. Cool. So, it's time to pick next week's film.
Sure.
Do you know what next week is?
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas, man. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So we've got a special Christmas randomizer, have we not?
We have.
So all the Christmas films on Netflix are on the Christmas randomizer. So we're going to do a Christmas film. We don't do Halloween films at Halloween, but we do Christmas films at Christmas.
Sure.
We make the rules. It's our show. Who cares?
Damn right.
Shall I spin the Christmas randomizer?
Let it snow.
It has picked a film called The Holiday Calendar.
Okay.
So far, so Christmas.
So far, so bland.
Let me just bring it up on IMDb. So The Holiday Calendar is from 2018. It's a drama, fantasy, romance Christmas film.
Oh, lovely.
So PG, it runs for 1 hour 35 minutes. Currently rated at 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Would you like to hear a synopsis?
I really would.
A struggling but talented photographer inherits an antique holiday advent calendar, the contents of which seem to predict the future.
Okay.
Will this magical calendar lead her to love this holiday season?
I think maybe I could do the fortune-telling advent calendar. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'd want that.
Sounds like a good thing. Directed by Bradley Walsh. I don't think it's that Bradley Walsh. It's directed by Bradley Walsh. So yeah, go out and watch for Christmas. It's Christmas. Go out and watch The Holiday Calendar. And we'll come back on Christmas week to talk to you about it. But in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, you can do that. It's bottomofthestream@gmail.com. Or the website is bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded. You'll find all the stream tables. You find loads of other cool stuff. And you can even get some merch if you want some bottom of the stream baubles. It's Christmas.
Nice.
Patreon.com/bottom of the stream. For a couple of quid every month, you'll get early access to episodes. You'll get bonus episodes. You will get Nick writes a newsletter every month. It's really good. This month's was especially good.
Oh, thank you very much.
No problem. And if you come in at the top level, you'll get a wild card, so you can give Robin the randomizer the night off and pick the film that we watch in a particular week each season. After you've done all that, come and join us in Discord. Have a chat with us in there. We've got loads of cool stuff planned for that. Nick's going to do a quiz, apparently.
Yeah.
We've got a quiz. We've got some watch-alongs going on. So do all that and then live your life.
But do that first.
I can't remember how I finished that thing, so I've just done that.
If you've got a few minutes spare, then please consider leaving us a review anywhere that you can review podcasts, because it really helps get our little show in the eyes and ears of more people. You could do that on Podchaser, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, anywhere you can review podcasts. Come and leave us a note. What film did we do this week? What did we just talk about?
Good time.
Maybe you could...
Memorable, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe you could... I can't think of any.
Break into a ghost train and write it in silly string on the side of the
you could write it in like ultraviolet ink, so it could only be seen in mid-ride.
UV lights. Do that.
Sounds like a lot of effort.
It does, doesn't it? Sounds like a lot of effort.
Just leave us a review on one of these.
Leave us a review somewhere. It really helps us out. It's Christmas. Why would you not? Do all that and then go out and watch The Holiday Calendar with some... It's Christmas. Watch it with people.
A Yule log.
Watch it with a Yule log?
Yeah, eat a Yule log.
Okay.
And watch it.
Deal.
Or eat a whole advent calendar as you're watching it.
Do that. Every time the film's shit, open the door on an advent calendar and watch it. Do all that, and then we'll come back on Monday for The Wave and on Thursday for our Christmas special, The Holiday Calendar.
Cheers.
Bye.